Hello, my name's Michael Raff, and I'm from Richmond, Virginia. I was born in Washington, D.C. about 65 years ago. My dad was from Chicago, my mom was from New York, but they both moved to D.C. during the tail end of World War II. My dad worked as a physicist to help the Navy win the war. My mother became a research analyst at the State Department because she thought we needed good people to help ensure that we would win the peace. They both believed in a life of public service and that America was a great place that could do great things for all of its citizens. Um, my grandfather, my mom's dad, came from a small village in Russia, not far from current day Kiev, and he came to America because he saw it as the promised land. But my grandparents, my parents are gone now. I don't think they recognize the America that we live in today. I don't go home to DC much anymore, but when I do, I barely recognize it. Growing up, I played at all the national monuments. As a schoolboy, we took field trip every year and walked through the halls of Congress. As a college student in DC, I made a point of going to the Library of Congress to do research papers. It's my hometown. I'm proud of it. And I'm proud of what it stands for, and I'm proud of the people who work there to keep it running. But when I go there now, it increasingly looks like a fortress to me. Chain link fences, Jersey barriers, metal detectors, all kinds of security in places where I used to roam freely. I don't know what's happened to this country. I think we have shocked the world that this is a place where school children get slaughtered simply for going to school. The children who are not are frightened to go to school. They're in mortal fear for their lives. Their parents are scared to send them to school. Compassionate, experienced teachers are retiring early. They are leaving the profession because of the stress and demands of the jobs. Almost worse than the tragedy of children's lives getting cut short is the plight of the mentally ill. The majority, something like 60% of all gun-related deaths in this country come from self-inflicted gunshot wounds, either accidents or, in most cases, intentional suicides. And it's embarrassing and it's shocking that people who are ill in this country can get their hands on firearms more easily than they can get therapy or a doctor who will prescribe them anti-anxiety or anti-depression medications. There is no place in the world that has as much gun violence as the United States. And the reason for it is simple. There are more guns in the United States. There are way more guns in the United States than there are people in the United States. It has to stop. It's madness, and the time has come. You know, I grew up in the 60s, which for some people was the era of the civil rights movement or the era of peace and love. For me, it was the era of the assassinations. I know where I was when John F. Kennedy was killed. I know where I was when Martin Luther King was killed. I know where I was when Bobby Kennedy was killed. These people were icons in my family. People who were just trying to make America a better, safer place for everyone. And it's 50, 60 years later, and not much has changed. We all know what the Second Amendment says, although we disagree on what exactly it means. But like the First Amendment, we know there can be some, it's not absolute. There are there can be regulations without violating the spirit of the Second Amendment. Surely, surely there should be age restrictions on some weapons. Surely there should be some kind of red laws for people who are clearly distressed and likely to harm themselves or others. I don't think waiting periods violates the Second Amendment, but it's time to act. It's just time. There's been too much bloodshed. Thank you for your time.